Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the first of 5 interviews for the inaugural Women of Character event. I'm Deborah Harrington, the first woman chairman of the Orange County Council, Boy Scouts of America, in our rich 100-year history. On behalf of our council, we are so thrilled that you have joined us for this wonderful virtual event, and we hope that you enjoy hearing the inspiring stories of our 2020 Women of Character honorees. Over a year ago, the Boy Scouts of America's organization opened its doors to young women to enjoy and learn from our leadership and character development programs. Our desire in creating this event is to highlight influential women in our community, to provide an inspiration to our young women, to help prepare them for their futures. You will notice at the bottom of this video, there's a link to help support our mission in developing our future programs. Please consider making a donation to our movement. Normally, our council hosts several events throughout the year to raise donor-based funds to keep our mission going, but unfortunately, this effort has been temporarily thwarted, like many businesses and organizations. The impact of the coronavirus pandemic has had a profound effect on many levels at our council, resulting in very few dollars coming in. So if you can, donate. Our youth and our organization would be grateful. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration. Today, we'll be speaking with our first Woman of Character honorees, Ellie Morrison. She is the first female national commissioner of the Boy Scouts of America's national organization. Like many others, Ellie started out at the organization as a volunteer and later earned her way into the national offices before handing her title over just recently. Let's hear Ellie's story. Hello, Ellie, and thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations on being named a Woman of Character in our inaugural class. Ellie, as you reflect on your time as the first female national commissioner, what impact do you think that you've had on the National Council?
Gosh, well, that's probably hard to say, but my job, my role as National Commissioner was to be the Chief Morale Officer and to help everyone stay focused on the mission and at the same time inspire adults to keep on scouting. And I like to think I did that, but I'm also known for getting things done and for being practical.
Those are all extremely proudful traits that you hold. And I know you accomplished all of that because your reputation before our introduction preceded you as being everything that you just described.
So, well, thank you.
You're so welcome. If you had to identify one aspect of your scouting life that has influenced you the most in the many roles that you serve as a national commissioner, a community leader, a wife, a mother, what would it be and why?
I think probably Wood Badge. I learned an awful lot from Wood Badge. I learned that scouting is really a workshop. Mm-hmm. You can learn about character or about leadership by reading and studying, but you don't really own those things, if you will, until you actually do them. And scouting provides you with a workshop where you get to try out the things that you have learned about and see what works for you. I also learned that life is often like a hotel corridor. Sometimes when you're in a position or doing a job and you're having a wonderful time, it's like being in a party in a hotel room and you get pushed out of the hotel room, the door slams, and there you stand in the corridor with all those closed doors. Wow. And you think your life is over. Wow. But sooner or later, a door down the way opens up and you find that's where you were really meant to be. A door always opens.
Wow, that is a powerful analogy. Thank you so much. And I understand exactly what you were communicating with us. Thank you. As a prominent Scout leader, there are certain to have been challenges, foreseen and otherwise, that empowered you to achieve the greatness in the name of Scouting, beyond your own expectations. Does one or two of these challenging times come to mind now? And if so, what were your guiding principles that helped you navigate through these difficult times?
Well, there were always challenges. A lot of times I was the only woman in the room.
Yeah.
That's pretty intimidating. And I think you've probably been there too.
Mhm.
And then there were sometimes questionings about why her, you know.
Mhm.
But usually, after we got to know one another and worked together for a while, all that sort of thing went away. And I think that for me, knowing that God had called me to serve in Scouting, that's really been my ministry
Mhm.
for these 35 years or so. I think I knew that He had called me and I was obedient.
I love that. And I can relate to your stories. I think it is difficult to be the first woman in any role. And for you to have such a highly visible role, the impact that you've left has been tremendous. And congratulations on that. As a role model and inspiration to young girls, accomplishing so much for the Scouting family, what thoughts would you like to share with the young girls of today who may be interested in joining Scouting BSA, who may be hesitant or perhaps a little intimidated or fearful to join something that's unknown to them?
Well, first of all, we need more girls in Scouting. And so
Amen.
it should be high on all of our calendars at this point to start recruiting now. Let's not wait till fall. Let's go ahead and recruit now. And just by offering that invitation to someone who's hesitant to join could make all the difference. The other thing that I think I would say is that none of us know what life has in store for us.
Mhm.
But Scouting is a broad enough program that it will prepare you for whatever life brings you, whether it's just getting a driver's license or becoming an astronaut.
Mhm.
Life, is prepared for us, and we have the skills and the confidence to do that you'll gain through Scouting to do whatever it is that comes your way. And I think that's really what it's all about, is the confidence and the skill and the know that you can do it.
That's so true. So true. Our programs empower young girls, and I'm so glad that you could articulate in a way that I think will resonate with all of our young girls listening to us today. So thank you for that answer. Again, as a Women Scout leader in the midst of our transformative years to include girls as an integral part of our Scouting family, are there aspirations still to be achieved that may be unique to their Scouting experience? In other words, do you have a vision, I should say, for our Scouting program that reaches beyond where we are today for girls? If so, what would that be?
Well, I think all the key things are in place.
Mhm.
We just need time for those things to blossom. My real goal is to see boy troops and girl troops and their men and women leaders work together side by side with respect toward making the mission of Scouting become a reality for everyone. And that's the biggest thing, is to work together side by side with respect.
So what you said is we need to transition what we visioned for our girls
Mm-hmm.
into a reality that we can all be so proud of. And as a parent of twins, a boy and a girl, oh my goodness, that statement alone has so much meaning for my own family. So thank you again for articulating that. As you step down now from your role as a national commissioner, what is a lasting memory that you would like to hold on to forever?
Well, all of them. I'm a scrapbooker. And so my husband likes to journal, so he has encouraged me to do that as we have gone through this process. But I will scrapbook things, and I've gotten an opportunity to do a lot of things that I never would have otherwise. But I think the most important thing are the relationships that I formed. With other adults, but especially with some of the kids that I came in contact with, even if just for a few minutes. I can think immediately of a young man I met at the World Jamboree, and I can think of a young woman that I met at a jamboree as well. And I think I'll carry the memories that those kids had for me forever.
You know what? What I heard when you answered that question so beautifully is your memories are carried in your heart, right? Those memories are in your heart, so those will last a lifetime. And those are beautiful memories to cherish. Ellie, was there a time when you felt nervous or perhaps intimidated in your leadership role? If so, what were the sources of these temporary insecurities and how did you overcome them?
Well, there were lots of times I was afraid. A lot of times I was afraid, and I guess the one that I remember most significantly, because it is more what led to everything else that has happened, was I got called by someone I didn't know and asked to become a part of the National Commissioner Service Team. And that was when we were just beginning to start that service team. So I didn't even know what it was, but they described what they wanted me to do. And I didn't have that skill set. And I hung up the phone and I said, okay, I'll think about it, and hung up the phone and really was just paralyzed with fear, if you will. And immediately the phone rang again, and it was a good friend of mine. And because of my tone when I answered the phone, she thought something horrible had happened. And she said, what did happen? And I explained, and she said, okay. And about a week later, she said, well, I just wanted to check in with you and see what you decided about that scouting job. And I said, well, I've decided not to take it. They really need somebody with a different skill set than I do. And she looked at me and she said, Ellie, God provided Moses with Aaron when he said he couldn't do something because he stuttered. God will provide an Aaron for you as well. And he always has.
Wow. That is a powerful testimony of your conviction to see that task through. You were being called to serve, and you answered that call despite your perhaps fears or insecurities in that brief moment in your life. But we're so glad you did, because you've been impactful to the scouting name and to young women everywhere. The last question we have for you goes to who's inspired you. What women would you say has inspired you, or person, as a tremendous leader that you are today, and why?
Well, there's probably no one particular person, but characteristics of different people that, just kind of came into my life at different times. And you can almost tie them all back to the 12 points of the Scout Law. There comes a time in every youth's life or in an adult scouter's life when the 12 points of the Scout Law cease to be something you just recite at the beginning of a meeting and become instead the things that you aspire to be. And that's when the magic of scouting happens, and you can't beat it.
Incredible and so true. Ellie, I can't thank you enough for your time today and for the opportunity to allow me to interview you, to share your story, your legacy as your leadership in scouting has taken hold. You've been impactful, you've been inspiring, and that legacy will continue. And this little window into your life, I think, will serve us well and help encourage other young girls to take that leap of faith and join scouting program and seeing what that can do. So again, congratulations as being part of the inaugural Women of Character. And to our audience, if you're in a position to help support our programs and our scouting mission, please follow the link below to donate to the Orange County Council, Boy Scouts of America. All donations are greatly appreciated and will help our young women in our scouting programs on their personal journey of development to acquire a strong leadership skill set that will be certain to create the foundation for becoming a woman of character themselves as they chart their life course. As we conclude our time together today, thank you again for joining us. We hope that you will join us tomorrow at the same time as we will be interviewing our second honoree. Deidre Pujols is a philanthropist, a mother, and wife of our local Major League Baseball player with the Angels, Albert Pujols. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.